Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. So I cannot believe that we are already on episode 5. And in a few days, we're going to get 6. And there's only eight in this season. Maybe there'll be 10 next season. And I do hope there's a next season. So before we get started, let's just say hi, see who's here. I see Carrie and Avis and Rona and Jennifer. Christina's here. Hello. Um, I don't know about you, but every time the next episode comes, I like that one even better. I like this one because I don't know, we got a lot of layers of information, like past information, present information, and maybe even some things to come, which I want you to weigh in on. So, hello, Arlene. Just taking a minute for everybody to get in because I do know there's that little gap of time, that little delay. So there was a lot of serious stuff. And if the writing wasn't so superb, and it is, if the writing wasn't so superb, I would think that this was very depressing. And instead of it being depressing, it was sprinkled with really great humor and one-liners. And I remember when James was on, he said there are a lot of one-liners that are just fantastic, and he is correct, and they are delivered perfectly. That even between the narrator and then the actors themselves, especially Leah Thompson, she's got them constantly. It makes it not depressing. It makes it serious and enjoyable. And if I don't know, to me, this series so far has been like extremely realistic, very much opposite of what Hallmark is. Hallmark, for a lot of us, not putting it down, I love Hallmark, is an escape. We know we're getting a happy ending, and we know that there's serious stuff, but not that serious. And this is serious stuff. And I don't know if there's going to be a whole bunch of happy endings, How can there be? We'll see. All right. So everyone's saying hi. What's Christina saying? Christina says, even though I haven't been able to watch it, I love hearing about it. Oh, I hope you get to watch it. I really, really do. I really do. I was happier than a pig in slop with this episode. Okay, Avis. I know that fits right in. All right, so I'm just going to talk about I just love let me show you this. Of course, this is straight off my TV. You could see like all the pixels and everything. I was just grabbing it cuz it's easy for me to add so you know what I'm talking about. In the very beginning when the narrator speaks, I love how they do this side by side, and they do it often either in a still like this or like two things happening at one time, and we keep weaving in and out, and it catches us up, and we also get some background information. So we see the closeness that these two sisters had. Like May was Amanda's protector because she was older. And then you find out why they just have this feud, and they kind of hate each other, and that's because they loved each other so deeply, and they still do, and they're just extremely hurt because there's a lot of dysfunction in this town like in the world. But I love how they were talking about the relationships that they had, and the narrator was saying Amanda's relationship, because they look really sweet and loving there, Amanda and her husband. They were young, be- because of the doubt that May had, that kind of like ruined her relationship with her husband a little bit. It was like always there. And of course, because she kind of May voiced it to Amanda, went right on her wedding day, and her sister told her, "Get out, just get out." She was so hurt that she couldn't admit that she was hurt, and then it caused her to kind of be a bit frozen and create her own little life in her world. So the two of them loved each other so deeply, but then here they are with such a damaged life. And I thought, okay, this is deep. Right, yeah. This series makes you think. Yes, it does, Arlene. It really does. And I wanted to go here. So let's see. Arlene says this series makes you think. And Cindy says it delves into more realistic family dynamics and relationships that you don't often see in most Hallmark productions. You don't see it at all, except in maybe The Way Home. You did. You see some, like, I know there's a fantasy to that, but there's some serious stuff in that as well. Not everyone is perfect. They're broken like we all are. But everything has its place. So I don't want to see, people like, oh, I don't like Hallmark doing this or that. There is something for everyone in Hallmark, and apparently more so now, especially with this Hallmark Plus. But let's see. Jennifer says, Arlene reminds me of the country I live in, and the county I live in. And county, I'm sorry. And it definitely makes you think. Yes. So I liked when the pastor, who is Matthew James Dowden, who we know, he is talking about how the town is like broken apart, and he says stuff like, we have terrible, hurtful gossip, or what's he say? He says, wait a minute, I had it written down. What he writes, he says, oh, there's mean-spirited pranks. He said there's hurtful gossip and families are falling apart. And he said, and it's all over chicken. And they kind of laughed a little bit, because it's really not just over chicken, because those two different chicken establishments kind of had a stigma. Who was, a Franny's girl and who was a Mimi's girl. And Mimi's girl is almost like your trash. And Franny's girl was a little elevated, but I felt like the Mimi's girl let it all out and had, their way about them, that they were independent. And the Franny's girls were very much, what is it when you put it, suppressed. So I don't know if there's more to it than chicken, right? Oh, I thought someone was saying something else. All right. So the music that they played too, when these serious things were happening, were like, I don't know. I found myself sometimes like teary eyed. I don't know about the rest of you, but I was like, okay, this is an emotional episode. Cindy, let's see what you say. Do you think, oh, I'm getting there, Cindy. I love when you people jump ahead. Okay. I'm getting there. I think, like, okay, the things that she said to him when she went to see the pastor, right? Well, first of all, what I thought was funny was she has a fight and an argue with Gus because she tries to do something nice. And then Nancy says to Gus, I saw you on a Sunday with a married man, and she goes, you don't even know what you're talking about. And then I laugh because I definitely think that what's going on with Gus, and I think his name is Jen, Gen. I definitely think it's something medical, whether she's his patient and he's a doctor or a therapist of some sort, physical or whatever. It's definitely medical. I'll show you a clip that I saved. But yes, thank you, Rona. Okay, wait a minute. Let's go up back a little. Avis is saying, phew, Pastor McGregor. Nancy said his arms are so strong that he could tear them. Yes, I wrote it down. So wait, this is okay. Hold on. I have to show you something. So these are the girls finally reconnecting, and I'll talk more about it. Since you skipped ahead and ruined my organization. Okay, look. She's like, I don't want to bother you reading a good book, Pastor. And he's like, oh, I am reading a good book. It's her book. This is what she's reading. And I thought, oh, that's not just subtly there. And then she sits in close and they're talking. And the things that he said, though, he said, my favorite Nancy. I had to go back and listen to that. And I was like, what? Did he say favorite? Is that what he said? And then he said, what else? Hold on. I got to find where I wrote it all. Now you got me all a flux here. Okay. Said, where is it? I'm sorry. Hold on. You want to know what? Let me interrupt you because look, this is my partner who ditched me trying to call me. She gets I have a podcast. Stay on. Oh, she hung up. Okay. She's leaving for out of the country, and I wanted to say hi, and that would have been great if I could have taken the call while I was talking to you. I have it written down exactly what he says to her. She says to him about the magnolia. Remember when she leans into him and she puts her hand on his arm, right? And she's like, oh, she's like, you could rip a, what is it? Arm on him and on his, okay. So strong, you could pull a magnolia tree straight out of the ground, roots and all. And when she walks away, he's like, feeling his own arm, like, ooh, ooh. So yeah, do you think those two are going to have like a little, I don't know. Not that they're going to do anything I don't know, unspeakable, but do you think that they'll have like a little romance? And he's like much younger than her. So that's what she was kind of accusing. Well, he's not married, but what she was accusing Gus of is a little bit of what she is projecting on I thought onto Gus because she's got some little romantic feelings about the pastor. Nancy definitely fancies the pastor, and Cindy says she does too. Okay, Cindy. Well, the pastor, Matthew will be my guest, just not yet. We're trying to like strategically place it until we get to know a little bit more about him. But just the conversations that they were having with each other and the way they were saying it, like he says to her, "It's because you feel so deeply, Nancy, like I do." And I'm thinking, yeah, they're feeling deeply. They're feeling deeply about their attraction for each other for whatever reason. Okay. So you agree with me on that one. I think I have another weird vibe going on. What about the daughter? She's having a conversation. She's doing her same line about the stone. I love my stone, but it's dragging me to the bottom. And why is it that I have all of these notes and now I can't find anything? And she says, but it's dragging her down basically, but she loves it. And I'm like, kind of sounds like a metaphor for her mother. But then when what is her name? I forgot what the young girl's name is. That's supposed to be like her friend. It's Sabrina's daughter. While they're talking, she's like, maybe draw more from your own experience. And she's like, I've never dated or anything. I'm wondering, yep, she's never been on a date or dated. I keep getting this feeling that maybe she likes girls. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm wondering if she's getting a bit of a crush on her new friend. I'm serious. I thought this one when I first saw her. Just a vibe I got, wondering, and how would that go down? I mean, I do know we have Kenneth and Patrick, but I'm wondering what Nancy would say and feel and think, and what Amanda would. I wonder how that would go, if it would be a good thing. You're thinking that too, Cindy? I thought it like episodes ago, like when I first met her. Um, I loved the horse pipe war when Nancy was planting hydrangeas for Gus. I know. I was agreeing with you about the thing with Gus being medical. Okay, got you. I really do think it's that, especially at the end. Now I have a lot of I do's. Are these I do's that you're thinking? No, I've moved on, girls. I forgot. I forgot about the delay. I'm thinking that I'm on to Frankie now, that she is going to wind up being a lesbian. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. And she might have feelings for her new friend. Now, getting back to the thing with Gus, because girls, you jump ahead and you make me go all over the place. I'll get back to all this. Close your eyes. This right here. See how Gus is, not that she didn't want her daughter to stay with her, which her daughter basically thought, is because she really had no room for her, because we know she has that hoarding disease. And when she's sitting there, she's holding her hand. You know what I mean? And I guess that fight and that tug of war she kind of had earlier, I was thinking the whole time that she has something with Sirius. In the book, she has my goodness, it went out of my head. It's what is it? Help me out. And whoever read the book, it's not dementia, and I can't even think of the word. Lewy body dementia is one of them, but it's like her body is failing her, and Parkinson's, that's it. And so in the book, she has Parkinson's, and I'm wondering if this is what, thank you, Carrie. Thank you. Thank you. Another one that's great with details is if they're going to do Parkinson's or something different. And I think that Jen has been helping her. That's what I thought all along. We kind of all talked about this. I think she was the most, I think this was the most powerful scene. Which one was the most powerful scene? I think Gus is trying to get psychiatric help with the hoarding. I don't know, Avis. I thought that at first too, but I think it might be a little more than that. And it's not psychiatric help. I think it's more like a therapist kind of thing, because psychiatric would be meds and all of that other stuff. I think it's more of a physical therapy kind of thing for her, because I really do think if it's not Parkinson's, it's something pretty serious, especially when she's holding her hand. So this scene right here, oh my God. I wish these two actresses were on, and if they ever are, because I did request a while back, but I think Maria and all them are just so overwhelmed with Christmas and all. I truly think that this was one of the greatest, most like probably best behind the scenes stories ever. Fighting first when they poke each other. Oh, that was too, you poked me. That was too hard. And then with the whole hose, they're really hosing each other down. And I don't know how they kept a straight face. And I'm wondering how many takes that took. Right? Right? I know. Yeah. I love this. Okay, Cindy. Gus sitting in Amanda's room with the picture you're showing. Yes, that was powerful. That made me cry. I felt bad, and she cried. And she really wants to reach out to her daughter, but she had no room for her, and probably even the thought of trying to clean that up by it being a mental illness, also physically, is just too much. And I think in the end they'll all come together, to help her out. And I really do think Jay is on his way and not ignoring May, even though that is what she thinks. So the girls had a big heart to heart, and I love seeing them bond and being silly. And this scene, when she hears her sister crying and she goes and she lays next to her and gives her like a hug and she holds her, they realize that they're both messes in their own way. Like nothing is perfect. And it's like a miscommunication and hurt feelings. And that's like what all of our lives are like, basically. You know what I mean? That happens all of the time. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is a really powerful show. I wish it would get more exposure. And I hope that many people are watching it because it's really good and it's worth watching. I think people are missing out because they might be having a hard time accessing it. They're not into getting Hallmark Plus for whatever reason. I hope that Hallmark's smart and gives it a chance because the writing and the acting is fantastic. And it could be a downer of a movie, but because of these one-liners, it makes it not, or these crazy scenes like I was just showing you, and then you have this beautiful scene. So it's like back and forth, and it's not like your emotions are everywhere. You cried, Carrie. I know, so did I. But it's not like it's jumping all over the place. It's sort of like this, and it's a good ride. Let's see. Gus said, I'd rather be drowned. And I'm downwind of an outhouse breeze, and Nancy told Gus, "Your dress for standing in a field scaring crows." I know. I loved when she was upset, Nancy, and she was talking to her son and the things that he said. I have them written down, and and she's trying to. She's telling her daughter, not her granddaughter, she's telling her son and the granddaughter stand by how she's so mad she's so hot or whatever, she could pop popcorn or something. I'm like, what are all these one-liners? Who thought them up? All these old Southern one-liners. I think it's funny they did really good research. When she tells him if he's going to atone and if he's going to, the son, if he's going to, what, just ignore her? Well, basically he didn't think he had to apologize. He's such a creep, and she helped to make him a creep. It's like he's not accountable for anything. And even if he heals, I don't want to see him with her. I want to see them separate. How do you all feel about that? Even if he gets better, do you want to see Amanda with him, or do you want to see Amanda maybe with nobody finding herself? What do y'all think? I would like to hear about that. That would be interesting for me to know. Here's what Frankie says. My love is like a stone around my neck, and it's dragging me to the bottom, but I love my stone. I can't live without it. I'm like, that's her mother. And I have heard a lot of them all my life. I always call things doohickeys and doodads. Me too, Avis. I do too. But I'm just saying some of the stuff about something she could popcorn. She was so mad, or hot rather. She could popcorn, and I don't know. There's just like so many things. Yes, Jen, finding herself. Good. I really hope that's what it is, and I hope that she gets a divorce because they need to. They could get remarried later on, but they need a divorce. They need a clean break, because I don't think as long as she's married to him, she'll just still feel too connected. Frank is no good for Amanda. She's a better person without him. Avis, that was another time when she said she was so mad she could spit. Yeah, but she said the popcorn thing. I have it written down wherever. If you could see my notes, and then when you girls jump ahead, I get frazzled. Good. Cindy's agreeing. No, she needs to be on her own for a while. But I want it to be a divorce. I want her to be divorced because she needs to cut those ties for real so she doesn't feel guilty in case something happens to him. He gets sick, or not that we want anybody to get sick, even in the character, but you know what I mean? She'll feel obligated. And that's kind of like what happened in the end. And what I don't like, there's a difference between Amanda and May. And the big difference between Amanda and May is that they wrote where Amanda uses words like a weapon. Like she's supposed to be all sweet, but then she gives you such a little like Nancy does, where May is not like that. And when at the end she's like, you're leaving, you're going back to him, and you're so much better than this. And she's like, yeah, just because you made a mess of your life doesn't mean I have to make one of mine. And she kind of steps back, and she's so upset and sad now, May, because she had her sister with her, which she always wanted all along, that Patrick gives her a piece of that holy moly luscious pie. Because remember, when he first brought it, he only brought one fork so that she couldn't Amanda couldn't share with May, because kind of has bad feelings about her. Look at that pie. Does anybody have a really good raspberry pie out there? That pie, I mean, one with raspberries, not me with the gem, but they cooked down. That pie looks so good. I wonder if it was really a pie and they got to eat it. Oh, no. It looks so good. Good. A clean slate. Thank you. I agree. Avis, Frank compliments Amanda for the way she does his laundry, pays his bill, and makes him go to work. But finally, Frankie really sees that her dad really what expects from Amanda. Yes, because remember when she's standing next to her aunt and she's all smiles and she looks over, and Frankie's like, says to her aunt, this is a good thing. And May doesn't really disagree with her. What May says, like kind of like out loud thinking to herself, that she's like, I have to stop thinking I can rescue her because only she can do that for herself. And it kind of makes Frankie think, right? Heartbreak pie. Is that a real thing, Avis? Is that a raspberry pie for real? Yes, me too, Rona. I definitely like May better than Amanda. And so it gets Frankie to thinking. And then at the end, you see the face that she makes when first she's smiling. And then when she looks over and she sees her mom, and she's like, okay, I'm cooking now. I'll do your whites or whatever. And he's drinking his beer. And she gets this sadness on her face because it dawns on her what her life is really like. You know what I mean? It's really nothing for her and everything for her selfish father. So that's pretty sad. And also weaving in between that is the story between Sabrina and her daughter, where I love the conversation. Why can't I remember the daughter's name? Could someone jog my memory for me? Or straight up tell me. When the daughter says, Mom, you have to be out of the hotel room at 5. I got a call with dad. And she's all excited about her dad, her dad, her dad. And here she finds her daughter crying and sobbing. And she says, don't settle for stingy love. I love that. Stingy love. I love that. You need somebody who's going to really love you because you're exceptional and you're a great kid. And I like the conversation that the daughter had with Frankie, saying that divorce was the best thing that ever happened to her family. And she's happy it did because her parents are happier. They weren't meant to be together and they were miserable together. And I think that wheel started just a little bit to turn in her head because she wanted her parents back. And I guess for that family that she thought that perfect family, but it's really not perfect because she was just too young, as a kid to see, like most kids are, what it really was. But now it's starting to dawn on her. And again, she keeps using that line about the stone. And I'm thinking it could be a couple of things. And one of the things I think it is almost like a metaphor for her mother's life. That was the first time I sort of liked Sabrina. She was human. We found like a human side to her. And I saw Crestor coming in, or Crester. I really am waiting for those two, to hook up in some way. What do you think? You think that that's going to happen? I think it is. Um, how about when the sisters were bonding, right? And they're talking about whatever, all fun stuff like sisters do, right? Or good friends or family members. And May finds the chicken with the muscles and the dimples, and she goes, "That's the Sergio chicken." And she's like, "Ah!" And then she tells her, "Oh, you got a crush," and she finally admits she kissed him, and she's like, "God," they're like, "Ah!" Screaming. Is funny because it's real. I love that, and that's the best part. You forget that they're acting, and it felt like my life when I was watching when my family how they behaved together, and I thought it was really cool. And I like when she's like, "Oh, it was all right." She's like, it was okay." And she's like, "No, it was like curl your toes. Oh my gosh, perfect." And I thought, oh boy, that is not over. Not that I want to see her committing adultery, and not that I want to see her a character like that run off and into another man's life. I want to see her just to be appreciated and feel things that she hasn't felt in a long time. But I really would like to see her find herself. And it better not be some dumb, lame, like later on triangle, the triangle. We don't say that word. Where she gets herself together and now she's got Sergio or her ex-husband who somehow, has redone himself, or redone, listen to what I'm saying, reinvented. Oh my gosh. Oh, who will she choose? It better not be that. Okay, this is better than that. This is good writing. Better. They had a pillowcase fight. They had the sack race. Then she was about to eat the last piece, Amanda, and she looked like she was going to give her sister, but she ate it. It was just great. It was just really good, and I laughed. That's why Amanda agreed to stay with May when Patrick told her Sergio was there. Well, actually, he said she could stay on his couch, but then she's like, oh, so she had really no choice. So she stayed with her sister, which was cool. And they didn't run into each other the whole entire time. Oh, what about us trying to think of where she was last week? And nobody I know had it right. She was with, what is it, Shauna, and that woman has 942 side hustles. I love you, but you got to get out really now because I got to keep up my good rating. Out the door she went. I know. I love it. So, Nancy, we think that Nancy and the pastor maybe are going to have a little fling or something going on. That's one prediction. I think that, I hope that, but I think that May is going to get a divorce, if anything, maybe a separation from Frank, and sort of find herself, because see, in the book, he died. So it's her finding herself, even though she is attracted to the Sergio character, although that's not his name in the movie. And I mean, in the book. And she goes out to find herself. So I'm hoping that's what happens, but I hope it's a divorce. Gus wouldn't let Amanda stay because she simply had no room for her. Yes. Yep. Physically, she had room in her heart, but physically she didn't. And that was one of the last lines. And she had tears in her eyes. And that kind of broke me a bit. I was like, oh my God, we're going out with the tears. This has been an episode that just, wow, it was just a lot. And then I think Jay's coming, and I think he's not going to ignore her, but he's going to come to be with May, and I think together they help out their mom. But I don't know if they'll resolve that right away or if it'll roll into next season, because we really haven't heard much about the chicken itself, because the chicken recipe is actually, that winds up, I'm afraid to say this. I don't want to even say it in case you haven't read the book, but we haven't gotten into all of that part yet. We're just so much into their lives and not that war part. So I'm not sure how they're going to end that and roll it into the next season, or if it's, I don't know, it can't be ended, right? Because I don't know how many weeks is this going by. How are they going to carry that over? Just thinking about that. Maybe they'll get their own series, like a because they're such a high rating because they do such a good job, so they'll be back for more or something. That would be cool. Oh, all right. So a lot went down. It was a very serious, heartfelt, tug at your heartstrings kind of a episode. I liked it and I liked it a lot. I don't know if I'm missing anything because I went out of order of what I have here, but if anybody wants to bring up something, let me know. Oh, do you think Sabrina and Cresta are gonna go out on a date? What do you think? You think the pastor and I don't think like the pastor and um Nancy are gonna go out on a date, but I think they might kiss. What do you think? I think they might kiss and be like, I don't know. That'd be kind of scandalous, wouldn't it? Because she's a Franny's girl. Do you remember the women in the church? And they said, "Oh, the pastor, the unpure thoughts I have of him. Oh my!" Like, and then the one lady moved away from them because she was upset by what they were saying. Oh God, they crack me up. Those ladies, they're something. All right, so we have episode 6 next week. So we got 6, 7, and 8. I don't know how they're going to wrap this up and then roll it into something else for next season because I do remember I said KJ said that was written, and you know how things are. I know I repeat myself, but I would hate to see that not go through. It's just so good. Oh, I thought somebody added something there. All right, girls, that's it. That's all I got. That's all she wrote. And next week, oh, if you want to hear what's happening on Tuesday, so I'm starting as much as I can as and I'm going to be promoting I chose for this weekend coming up Chris's movie Holiday Crashers, and I have I think it's I'm trying to think. Yes, Tuesday it's Daniela Monet on, and she plays Brie. And then that Thursday, I have Sid on. She is the social media producer, and it does need another season. I agree, Rona. So we got lots of things coming up. All righty. So tune in. And thank you for tuning into this. I wish we could find a way to spread the word. Like I said, did anybody discover like the Hallmark Movies Now page is suspended? So Hallmark Movies Plus there is no Facebook page. I don't see a fan Facebook page or any kind of anything for the Chicken Sisters where we could communicate with each other and get people excited. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. All right. Good night.